Good morning and welcome to Daily Game Design. Let's make it happen. So yesterday I spent my I ended up having an hour. I didn't mean to. I actually really shouldn't have. And today I definitely will not because I need to get I need to get to school, but um yeah, I feel like I don't know. Anyway, I got quite a bit done, and I wasn't expecting to be working on what I was working on. And that was Adra HQ. I noticed some stuff in the rulebook, and then ended up spending most of my time in the rulebook yesterday. I do need to get to Party Wave. At least I would like to get this game to a playable state. And anyway, I also thought of an illustration that needs to change. This definitely is not. That's not practical. I just realized that this morning, like in the shower. I was thinking through what can I do on stream and what can I get done this morning. And for some reason, that came to mind, like where to place cards. Um, if the player's resource decks are right in front of the mission cards, so that's definitely not going to work. So I just realized I should change that setup. Like it looks so nice, but there's nothing practical about that placement. So I'm just going to set it off to the side here. That's about right. What I just did. Uh, oh. So I was hoping it would stay on the same line and just line up like that. This one's too fun. You know what? Just realized. Can put the I can put the space for where to play cards just right behind there's one of my friends, Roxanne, who's helping us with the murder mystery. I just realized this. She has a really interesting art. I don't know. I don't know how to. She adds this little thing when she talks. She like that talks. It's almost like some little. There are some little Chinese speaker artifacts that are like that, and I just caught myself doing something similar to that just then. Okay, this is actually again a pretty exciting thing to just realize, why didn't I think of this before? The same like yesterday. Um right, this is great. But just coming to understand it shouldn't be any color actually. Just coming to understand that I've like missed really important stuff in the rules. Like this is amazing. It's so simple, but It was something I was missing. Line it up and spin it around. That didn't quite work. That's actually interesting. I would prefer to leave. What was this space? I think it was 0.5, wasn't it? Like, I wonder how much like confusion I created because I had them place the piles right behind the mission cards. That's so good. Like, just goofy, like silly. Center everything here. Also, these should be the same size. So it might be slightly confusing that they're not. So I'm going to make sure that they are. Yeah, I caught this. I was doing the rule book and kind of toward the end of working on it, like a couple days ago, I realized that's not quite right. Corner rounding is 3 on those. So I had this awesome experience yesterday, and I was sitting at school working on stuff, doing a lot. Like, we're in like full on retreat planning mode, and the amazing thing is we've never had this kind of planning momentum. Because we'll be able to like message people every now and then. Hey, do you have any ideas? If you talk to anybody, but like this time, because we've got Lehua, she's a powerhouse. Dan, he's a powerhouse. He's just like consistent, helping us move forward on stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna like willing to do stuff. One of the great things he did just spontaneously without being asked, he took notes, like he took minutes on our meeting. Of course, we need somebody to do that. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't thinking of it. I was, managing other stuff. But he just like stepped right in and made it happen. So that was awesome. You know what I just caught is that I can use these same ones, like repeat the use of them so the illustrations are like consistent. So like this one is actually the east. I swear I'm gonna get to Party Wave. I know it. I definitely am. I will definitely be getting to Party Wave. And then this one was in the south. So now it looks like I just need one more unique one. This is so much better than this one. So I have school today, then I'm picking up family friends, like good old family friends, the Peshkas, just cool people, picking them up after school. I don't know if we're planning, I feel like we're not planning on like dinner or anything, because unfortunately I have a lot going on this weekend with convocation with our big worship event. So I'm actually not gonna be able to spend a ton of time with them, but we will be together for convocation. Um, how can I get this? Actually, you move things in, and then yeah, then definitely center everything. Do that vertically. And the next thing I can do is spin these just like I did the last ones. Okay, now this stuff can be aligned. I'm curious to see what it will do. Nice. Super. Center this. And then that looks good. Just ungroup this stuff. And that's just way better. And I'll align this. I guess it's not quite right. Morning, Francisco. Always glad to see you. What am I doing? Centering on, I think like that. So it's not saving as much space as I was hoping, but the clarity of this layout is way better, way higher than it was in the past. I'm just having revelation after revelation, Francisco. How are you doing? It's like this is all stuff I should have caught in the rule book months ago. And I don't want to be working on this rule book right now. I want to be working on Party Wave. But I just realized something this morning, wanted to get it out of the way quickly, and then just had like just the dawning of understanding as I was putting this together that I needed to make some more changes. Oh, 12. That's great. Because you wanted to hit that, at least that 10 threshold, right? Because then they got their bigger discount. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. You know what? I also don't know the status of um your business funding or whatever, because I know you were in a pretty delicate process there to try to make sure you had work. So are you still looking for work? Are you leaning into your business? I it's been, I think, at least over a month since I remember hearing about that. I mean, that's a feeling too. I have no idea how long it's been, honestly. I think I can make these a little bit smaller. Small as you can get. Is that good? Cool. Part-time work in mid-March, April, but still lean mainly into growing Firejoy for the next 3 years. That's great. Yeah, that's amazing. What? You are not supposed to be here. Huh. I feel like 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. I definitely need to get out the door. I had thankfully a very efficient time getting to school yesterday. It could have been a lot worse. Traffic wise and stuff. Yeah, with thinking about the nonprofit angle now, it's interesting trying to imagine a plan, because I imagine you've spent a fair amount of time thinking through exactly like the nature of the business and what you're going to focus on, what kind of contribution the business is going to make. And because we're thinking nonprofit for the retreats and other things, I mean, I don't think we'd have to be limited to retreats at all, right? Like we could do a lot of cool stuff with a nonprofit. Does it need to be done? I think so I don't know who's gonna see it next. But they just printed like cardstock copies of it, and they're gonna take it to meetings in Thailand pretty soon. And I just want to make sure that everybody is super clear on the game before they go, because the train wreck of playtesting before Christmas involved a poorly written rule book, a game that was too busy for most people playing, and the fact that the playing pods did not have a teacher. They were learning from the rule book. So it was a very sensitive moment, and we lost a lot of momentum when people tried it, were confused. So I just want to lock in this rule book just so we don't, yeah, so that is not an issue. So that I'm as little of the issue as possible. Okay, I feel pretty good about this. Yeah, already like it's just so different. Okay, so I do have some time to shift over to, oh, I wanted to share this. So I had a couple things for a couple really cool highlights from yesterday. One of them was getting a message from a Doomlings rep. And I played Doomlings on my birthday. We had a party. I had my 40th, not this year but last year, and a friend of mine, Keith, he brought Doomlings. We played. That was our last game of the night, and it was quirky, goofy, fun. It's not something I want to spend, like every night playing. Is that right? What does that mean? Jess. How did you know it was Jess? And why did she reach out to you? Was it Jess? No, I think it actually might have been Jess. I have the email. So that was amazing. She just she initiated contact. She said, your event looks like a good fit for us. What would you guys like? And so I described to her how games are useful to us and how we might highlight Doomlings in the weekend. It is Jess. So then I gave her my details, and then within a couple of minutes, I had an order confirmation for a deluxe set and then 2 base game copies. So we'll have the deluxe in the raffle and the 2 copies in our play to win. And it was just crazy. That's awesome. And for me, it was confirmation that, yeah, why did she reach out to you? Do you host something? What, was it talk about Doomlings on your podcast? I don't know that you're hosting events. So anyway, that was just really encouraging, and it was saying, we're visible. People can see that we're doing something and see that there's value there, because I've believed there's value in our event for a long time. and it's just nice when somebody else puts in the effort to like to come to affirm that. Okay, nice. Okay, so I developed a partners page. So I have this retreat partnership page where I just describe what we do on our end, the expectations we have. And a couple things clicked for me yesterday. One is when we have vendors, because we have these folks coming out to run some demos. And what I realized and kind of learned through the process is that demo like booths at shows and fairs and stuff are pretty expensive. And for us, like, we don't need to make money off of them. Not really. Like, it would help if we took a percentage, but we don't need to. And instead, we just need more attendees. That's all we need is more attendees. So for the registration fee, I mean, how good is this for a win-win? For the registration fee, they just need to buy a ticket, one ticket per person for a full weekend, whether they come on Saturday or they come for the full weekend. And then we come in housing with their booth fee, with our vendor fee. Let's see. Yeah, so anyway, that was just kind of another funny realization yesterday. It's like we're such an affordable event for people, and it's been difficult to get people to understand that and to come out. But if we got a few vendors that just like caught the caught the vision and just want to come out, have a fun weekend, and be at their booth for some number of hours a day, and otherwise just like play some games, get to know people, make connections that way, I think that's amazing for everybody. So we get more attendance, right? It would be great to add maybe a little onto that if we started getting some more demand, because we don't have a lot of space, honestly. But that was a cool thing to like finally commit to writing these things down and adding to this list here. It's very cool. In fact, I should add them. Michi's toy box. But yeah, so they're gonna come out. They're gonna run some stuff, and it was kind of taking a little while for me to understand how to treat them as volunteers, because they are providing us a service in a sense. They're going to be running some games, but I have a hard time evaluating what is that worth. Are they volunteering for us? So we should actually be giving them space for free because they're running demos, or are we like the cheapest booth fee they've ever had for $150 a person, including meals and housing? Are we the cheapest possible thing that they could show up to and sell stuff at, right? So that was a definite like perspective shift for me. Now it does matter, like vendor fit matters a lot. So we don't have a lot of war gamers, so that is unfortunate. And we can encourage people to go to their booth as much as is reasonable, but the vendors, we also want people to be satisfied that there's value to coming to the event. I mean, it's a risk for them. It's good for us, no matter what, because I think they'll have a nice time and connect with people, but they might not be making money back that they want to make back. So anyway, that was an interesting thing. And the Doomlings highlight was really cool yesterday. Okay, so Party Wave. Praise the Lord. Getting a Party Wave. So a couple of insights, or at least one insight from playtesting on Monday. And that is this tiny little detail, which is when to so the dice are representing surfing towards shore, catching a wave out here in the 5s and 6s. you know, these on these numbers, and building a track, a kind of chain or stream of dice down to the shore, which are these dice right here. So one of the little details was, what about the very beginning of the wave? How do you mark dice? Because you have there's a surfboard. That's what there's a little surfboard there. And then what I had them doing was placing. So let's say you roll a 5, and you would make this initial placement here, and then continue. And then Jesse, my friend, Monday night buddy Jesse, said, "Well, like what?" Well, because what I taught him was that from the surfboard, the values are reset. So usually, let's say this is the situation. So it's the start of Jesse's turn now. I guess it wouldn't be quite like this. It would be more. This might not matter. Also, why is that flipping to a 3? That's kind of interesting. So let's say this was from the previous turn. Now it's Jesse's turn again. And so he just re-rolls. He rolls everything. And in this case, he places a 6. Once you place a die and then decide to re-roll, the subsequent dice have to be equal to or lower in value than the die that's placed. Okay, so this 6 works out again. So we can place this 6. Okay, rolling 6s is not a great example, actually. Okay, so here place the 5. Now, if he risks it and rolls this right here, and it's a 6, then he falls off the wave, or he has to use one of his cards. So he has to use one of his cards to adjust the die, and that's what this 5 is all about. So actually, this is a very safe roll if he's not going for any shapes, first of all, and he's really close to shore, so he is going to roll. If it's a 5, great. It's not, so he'd spend this card, make it a 5, and then place and claim all these points. Well, anyway. So his question was related to marking the surfboard at the very start of the wave. What I'd written, or what I was asking players to do, was to mark the first die and then continue from there. But then he asked, like, well, what number is, like, what am I allowed to, like, so am I just re-rolling and it could be anything, or does it have to be lower than a 5? Well, I think it should be lower than a 5 starting here. And, sorry, a 5 or lower. And so what that meant is, again, this very little detail, it meant that you don't mark your first die. So we can be consistent in the rule writing and simplify the rule writing a little bit and be consistent from situation to situation, so it feels a little less like rules exception-y, because we don't want anything that feels like a rules exception. It should be like, if this is the state, you know, like I'm able to say, whenever there is an unmarked die, you need to roll dice and place dice that are equal to or lesser or lower in value. So rather than, okay, except for the initial placement, you know, et cetera, no, it is always, once you place a die and you re-roll and it's unmarked, so those, if you have an unmarked die closest, the unmarked, you have to roll lower than, equal to or lesser than, lower than or lesser, I don't know, then the die, the unmarked die closest to shore. I know that sounds very awkward, but that's the idea. It's not really super clear language yet, but that is the idea. That whenever there is an unmarked die, and it's the one closest to shore, like this one, you need to roll equal to, you can only place dice that are equal to or lesser in value. So let's try. So let's say that 5 is out there. We'll roll these. There's another 5. So in this case, I think I'm going to try to build the 5 shape. So we'll head this way. Let's roll again. Lots of dice, no big deal. Okay, now we have an issue because the value of these dice now is going to drop big time. Unless I use this card to make one of these a 5, the problem is that means I'm going to lose this card. In other words, I can't score it for its shape because I'm going to use it. So that is really unfortunate. So instead, I guess I'll place this 2. It's going to knock down the value of the shape, but at least I'll be able to score something off of this card, and I'll be able to add it to my set. Now the question is, do I mark it and score, or do I mark it and wait? I think I'll score. Well, actually, no. I want to make it worth it. I want to make it worth more. So I'll mark it and I won't score. I could have scored this card, but I decided not to. Okay, let's say it's purple's turn. I don't know. I added this dice roller yesterday, or a couple days ago when I was working on the game, and it seems nice. It just gathers the dice and organizes them. Okay, what kind of shape is purple trying to make? I think so. Purple's going to be a little annoying and kind of snake in front of red if possible. But purple's already also in a little bit of trouble because to make this shape it has to roll a 4 or lower. He's doing it, but also that means, like, you see what happened, rolled a 2, so this whole shape is going to be it's going to be worth 2 points, unfortunately. But where the value is made up is in the set collection of the 3s. So that's the most valuable set you can get. But see, this is nice. Like that neither decided to neither was able to clean up the dice at the end of their first turn, or they decided it was better not to. So this is exactly what I'm hoping for. It's more conflict like that, a little more interaction, like blocking and stuff like that. So blue could start on this 3 and like scoop something, but there's 6s everywhere. So I think instead blue is going to focus on like long shapes, and so blue could make this shape. I think I'll start out here. Actually, start behind everybody? No. I think I'll start out here, reroll. I'm trying to make this. I'm going to make this 6. Oh, you know what? No. He's going to try to make this 4 shape and save the 6 card to adjust these to make them a 6. Yeah, like right now. Should burn one of these cards to be a 6. I think so, why not? Okay, so this becomes a 6. So now I'm kind of wondering if it's too easy to want to make this a 6, because 6s are so valuable. Okay, so that worked out. And there's no reason not to push luck, because they're all 6s, so no matter what, this shape is going to score. It's going to be great if they roll a 6, but it's also risky right now. Okay. Okay. That was fantastic. And I think kind of cruise into the middle here. Okay, so this player is definitely going to mark this. No. I think they're going to get huge points off of this right here. So unfortunately it's a 2, which makes the next shape less valuable, but check this out. So because these are all 6s, just the base value of the shape is 6. So that's great. Also, because there are 5 dice that are getting cleaned up. In this case, there are 5 dice coming off the board. That means you get a bonus of 3 points. So this shape, this skill, is worth 9 points, which is kind of nasty. It's almost the most valuable. Like, this is actually the most. The 3 and 4 are the most valuable. No, wait. The 5 and 6 are the most valuable. If they wait to build long shapes. But anyway, that's huge. Like, that's pretty cool that worked out. Because this guy really pushed his luck, kept rolling single 6s, which I think is awesome. Right? There's no reason. Like, that was a great, like, push your luck result. It didn't have to go that way at all. It's unfortunate that that's a 2, because it's gonna. But I guess there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of time to make many shapes, so it might be better. I guess you could take a 3 and try to sneak in a 3 over here. Anyway, so that player did have a great turn and cleaned up. So no blocking there. Okay, 2 5s. Start with 2 5s. With everything going on in the middle, I mean, there's just, like, why would you start out here? I don't see it. Okay, so okay, we're back to red. So red's definitely not in trouble, but there's kind of no reason that Oh, that was interesting. I wonder why Twitch. Oh, lost connection for a second. Got it. Took a big bitrate hit. So you're working on a bag. It looks like I'm just now getting something here. Bag builder icon. If you have an icon representing your bag, call it B. And in your bag, you have tokens with numbers 1 through 4. Now, if you see the verbiage B3, what does that indicate to you? Wait, is there an apostrophe before the 3? Oh no, they're on either side. Minus B. I think once you get your punctuation nailed down, then I'm not too sure. So minus B is 3. I forget what you call that, single apostrophe or single quotes. Maybe like call 3 tokens or call a 3. Is that what's happening? Call a 3. Okay, so this kind of worked out. Cruise in here and needs to score this shape. So this is a 4 plus, where's red? 4 plus 4 plus 5 is also 9. No, it's 2. It's 2 plus 5 is 7. Yes, it means remove a 3 token out of your bag. If you're indicating something specific like that, I mean, because I'm bringing in some punctuation bias, I would prefer double quotes, but I don't think that helps you. I mean, I don't think that means that would definitely be clear to everybody, but I would prefer the 3, but maybe it would be like it would actually be an image of the yeah. No, I actually I think I don't know what the kind of like syntax you're using in general, but I would prefer let me think about this. I think I would do B colon minus 3. That's I'd have to think about that more, but because I get what you're saying is subtract something from your bag, and the thing that you're removing from your bag is a 3. But I could also see it the other way. It's in your bag or from your bag, remove a 3. Because I think it's nice, like interact with your bag. That's B, right? Interact with the bag. The interaction is add or remove a 3, right? For me, that is slightly clearer, but I don't know. I would have to see some more syntax, like your more language. I mean, other things you'd want to represent, like ways to interact with your bag. Also, I wouldn't punctuate this. I mean, this would definitely be better as icons, but I can see why, especially in prototyping, you would want to be able to just type things out rather than illustrate things. Yeah. Well, cool. I really do like bag builders, and I'm curious to see what you're doing with yours, the expansion stuff. We do need to playtest at some point. I mean, I'm open to having a look at because it's solo, right? The solo expansion or something. But yeah, I'd love for you to have a look at this too, or anything else. We'll have to find a time. But yeah, I'm going to transition away. I do need to, try to eat something super fast, and then head to school. So great hanging out with you. Nice to get some things done here and to actually see that this is working. Like this mess is really what I was hoping for. Some people have some open water, others have to like kind of squirm around and avoid people. Yeah. Tabletopia. Tabletopia, it's like you're such a snob. You're a snob, Francisco. You got to come down to our TTS level with the rest of us. The the plebeian, the no plebeian. What is plebeian? The commoner. What's that one? Anyway. Okay. All right. See ya. Have a productive day. See you soon.